It's midnight and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Liyana Hassanel. The headlines. Target of 500,000 job opportunities secured for 2021, says PM. And traffic summonses discount period extended until December 31st. Good morning. A total of 500,257 job seekers have managed to secure jobs through 27 initiatives implemented by the government as of December 3rd, thus surpassing the target of creating 500,000 job opportunities set by the Finance Ministry through the 2021 budget. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said it was a very meaningful achievement considering the various challenges facing the labour market due to the COVID-19 outbreak since March last year, which resulted in the unemployment rate to soar to 5.3% in May the same year. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri in a statement said among the key initiatives that have contributed to the success are the hiring incentive programs. One of the programs was the Penjana Kerjaya 2.0, which has succeeded in providing placement for a total of 221,966 employees, exceeding the overall target of 200,000 job opportunities this year. Another program was the Malaysia Short-Term Employment Program, MyStep, which also surpassed the overall target of creating 50,000 jobs this year with a placement of 61,328 employees on a contract basis for at least 6 months in various government ministries and agencies, as well as government-linked companies. According to him, the government had also managed to create more than 123,312 new jobs through investments in the country, with 74.2% of them in the skilled and semi-skilled categories. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the government would create 600,000 job opportunities under the Jamin Kerja Keluarga Malaysia initiative, which would involve an allocation of 4.8 billion ringgit. At an event in Pahang, the Prime Minister stressed that prices of essential goods are expected to stabilise and recover by early next year. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said this is when most countries reopen their borders, allowing economic activities to slowly return to normal. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said this in his speech when opening the Bera Parliamentary Level Mass Circumcision Programme in Pahang. He explained that the current price increase came about as borders at several countries were closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent movement control order. This prevented Malaysia from importing the essential items needed.
Oleh kerana tidak ada pengeluaran, jadi bila barang itu sikit, permintaannya banyak, tentu saja akan naik harga. Jadi kita percaya keadaan ini akan beransur pulih apabila seluruh dunia pun dah membuka ekonomi masing-masing, jadi pengeluaran akan kembali normal dan insya-Allah saya percaya tahun depan, awal tahun depan, harga akan semakin dapat diturunkan.
The Prime Minister said the government has also introduced various measures, including the ongoing Keluarga Malaysia sales program, to alleviate the burden faced by the people following the hike in essential goods prices. He added cooperatives nationwide could play their role to help overcome the problem of rising prices of goods and reduce the stress and financial burden of the people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the ways would be through the setting up of a wholesale cooperative to supply goods in bulk at cheap prices to all cooperatives, and this would enable the people to get goods at cheaper prices. Bukit Aman has extended the discount offer period for traffic summonses until December 31st after receiving overwhelming response. In making the announcement, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani revealed that since December 9th, a total of 2.3 million summonses with 109 million ringgit had already been settled.
Dan ini juga kenapa kita memberikan masa sehingga 31 Disember untuk memberi masa supaya orang ramai tidak akan membuat ataupun berkerumun atau menyerbu kaunter-kaunter trafik di seluruh negara, dan kita akan spread out dia punya kesesakan tersebut, insya-Allah. Itulah dia punya rasional tersebut.
Meanwhile, Tan Sri Akril said those who wanted to settle their summonses online could do so via the My Buyer Saman portal. It had been earlier reported that up to 80% discounts on selected traffic summonses would be offered from Thursday. However, discounts are not offered for summonses pertaining to accidents, overtaking on the double lines, using the emergency lane, running through the red light, overtaking dangerously, non-compoundable offences, offences under trial, heavy vehicles offences, and modification of vehicles' exhausts. UMNO's top leadership will hold talks with the government on the most appropriate time to hold the 15th general election. UMNO Deputy President Datuk Sri Muhammad Hassan said Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri has informed UMNO that it is not proper to hold a general election in the near future. Datuk Sri Muhammad said this was because there were many factors that needed to be considered before finalising the decision. Among them is the advice of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, who wants the government to focus on curbing the pandemic and the economic situation of the people.
Perdana Menteri yang akan menasihatkan Agong, bukan sesiapa pun. Ya. Tak ada siapa yang boleh menasihatkan Agong dalam perlembagaan. Yang menasihatkan Yang di-Pertuan Agong ialah Perdana Menteri. Maka itu sebab saya katakan tadi, pemimpin parti dan pemimpin kerajaan akan duduk bersama-sama seperti diputuskan oleh Majlis Kerja Tertinggi baru-baru ini. Pemilihan parti dan juga PRU ini akan dibincang bersama oleh kepimpinan parti dan kepimpinan negara. Kita nak cari yang baik. Maka apabila kita berunding sama-sama nanti, kita akan dapat kata pakatnya.
He said this to reporters after opening the Rembau UMNO Annual General Meeting on Sunday. He added that the UMNO party elections for the 2021-2023 term may possibly be held in November next year, as it has to be held before the expiry of the current term, which is in December next year. As such, the elections at the branch level have to be held early, that is in July at the latest. To a question whether there was a proposal made at the latest UMNO Supreme Council meeting for the top 5 party posts to not be contested at the coming party elections, Datuk Sri Muhammad said there was no such proposal. Meanwhile, on a request by Selangor UMNO for it to be given autonomy to continue cooperation with PAS through Muafakat Nasional, MN, Datuk Sri Muhammad said the matter would be discussed at the central level. Gedong is now officially a district in Sarawak, a recognition that will improve the way of life of the community and subsequently turn it into a satellite city for the Samarahan area. Sarawak Chief Minister Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said, as a new district, Gedong will have a more organised and detailed infrastructure and administrative structure.
Inilah harapan kita dan impian kita. Jadi Gedong, Semunjan, Sadung Jaya, Asajaya sudah tentu dapat menjadi satu kawasan integrated bersepadu dalam kita meningkatkan corak hidup masyarakat kita. Jadi dengan kata lain, bahawa kawasan luar bandar akan kita transformkan, kita ubah supaya menjadi satu kawasan yang moden, yang mempamerkan keindahan dan budaya rakyat Sarawak.
The Chief Minister said this when declaring Gedong as a new district on Sunday. Apart from Gedong, he also officiated 4 other new districts, Sebuyau, also in Samarahan, Siburan in Serian, Lingga and Pantu in Sri Aman, as well as the sub-district of Balai Ringin in Serian. According to Tan Sri Abang Johari, Gedong will have a development approach under the Integrated Regional Samarahan Development Agency, IRSDA, an agency that plans and further develops districts in the Samarahan area, including Gedong. The district will also be a biodiversity-based research center due to the presence of higher education institutions in the Samarahan area. Bus catches fire in Negeri Sembilan. This and more when we return. announced that the annual allocation for AIMS University will be increased from 20 million ringgit to 25 million ringgit beginning next year. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this when opening the 75th Annual General Assembly of MIC in the Federal Capital. The Prime Minister made the announcement in response to a request from MIC President Tan Sri S.A. Vigneswaran, who in a speech earlier said a bigger allocation would enable more Indians to further their studies and help improve the well-being of their families. AIMS University is a private university established by MIC's Maju Institute of Education Development, MIED. The university, located in Sungai Petani, Kedah, offers medical, science and technology courses. At the event, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also announced that a special cabinet committee on the development of the Indian community would be set up. He said that through the National Unity Ministry, an Indian Community Action Plan, PTMI, would be launched soon, setting out various short and long-term targets which should be achieved together with lead and implementing agencies. He assured the PTMI would be improved from time to time, in line with the 12th Malaysia Plan and the 2022 budget. The Prime Minister also said that specifically for the Indian community next year, a 100 million ringgit allocation will be given to the Malaysian Indian Transformation Unit, MITRA, for, among others, implementing an education financial aid program for the Indian B40 community, entrepreneurship capacity development program, and welfare assistance. Apart from this, 25 million ringgit has also been channeled through Tekun Nasional for the Indian Micro Entrepreneurs Financing Scheme, which provides easy loans of up to 100,000 ringgit at an interest rate as low as 4% per annum. The HRD Corp has also set aside up to 25 million ringgit for skills training for Indian B40 youths. The Education Ministry, on the other hand, will allocate 35 million ringgit for maintenance of Sekolah Rendah Jenis Kebangsaan Tamil (SKJT). The COVID-19 pandemic and its associated lockdowns have resulted in an increase in unemployment and underemployment from 2020 to 2021 due to the closure of businesses and reduction in market demand. In light of this, there is an urgent need to help improve the employability of our fresh graduates to better prepare them for the new job market in a post-pandemic world. Our reporter Hakim Azman has the story.
Youth are particularly affected and vulnerable by the economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 outbreak due to their lack of work experience and skills, as well as difficulty in finding alternative forms of employment. Therefore, many have expressed concerns in landing a job after graduating, as the lingering effect of the pandemic has disrupted the labour market and permanently changed how the workplace operates.
Whether or not I'll be able to adapt with the working environment due to, right now we can see the COVID-19 situation.
Especially for the fresh graduates, because sometimes they just want to set it like what they have, what they already have, and also that they don't want to hire a new employee.
Research for Social Advancement, REFSA Communications Director Raja Ahmad Iskandar Faris said the COVID-19 pandemic has also compounded an already growing problem of skills mismatch between the quality that the employer seeks and the graduate's capabilities. He added that the rate of skills related to underemployment remained high throughout 2021, and this mismatch is emblematic of a bigger issue.
Our higher education system is not producing the talent required by the job market. The system is due for a revamp. A greater investment should be made in public tertiary education system to create new jobs in the form of educators.
According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, the number of unemployed individuals in the country has risen to 718,000 in 2020 from 200,000 in the previous year, which was a very significant increase. The same number of jobless individuals also include graduates, which increased from 3.9% in 2019 to 4.4% last year. Meanwhile, Malaysian Society for Higher Education Research and Development President Professor Datuk Dr. Nurzaini Azman said those in power have to address the situation for the better, including boosting the graduates' marketability.
It's extremely important for employers, i.e. companies or industries, to commit to high quality development programs and on-the-job training to support our graduates that will need to be agile in the labor market. I think employers should show a real commitment together with the higher education institutions.
According to the World Bank report in March this year, the skills of Malaysian workforce were reported to be lagging behind other developing countries aiming to become high-income nation. Professor Dato' Dr. Nuraini also stressed the country needs serious investment in the development of human capital through education, training and access to new skills in order to achieve higher productivity. The COVID-19 pandemic has reshaped the world in many ways, including the job market. It is important for higher education institutions to ensure the graduates has all the necessary skills to adapt to the new employment landscape and help Malaysia to attain the high-income nation target in the near future. Hakim Azman for Nightline TV3.
In Negeri Sembilan, a bus with 44 factory workers caught fire in Jalan Bukit Putus near Seremban on Sunday. In the 12 noon blaze, all the passengers had just finished taking their COVID-19 vaccination in Senawang. They were on their way back to Simpang Pertang, Jelebu. Negeri Sembilan Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director of Operations, Ahmad Mukhlis Mokhtar, said they received an emergency call at 12:05 p.m. before dispatching fire engines from the Senawang, Seremban and Sri Menanti fire stations to the scene. The fire destroyed the bus completely. However, there were no reports of injuries or casualties, as all 44 passengers and the bus driver managed to flee as soon as the bus caught fire. The exact cause of the incident is still under investigation. Still to come on Nightline. 3 killed, 6 missing in Sicily buildings blast. Don't go away. To the foreign front. U.S. President Joe Biden on Saturday vowed to do everything he possibly can to help central areas of the country devastated by tornadoes. He also approved an emergency disaster declaration for Kentucky and pledged to support the states affected by the monstrous tornado.
I also approved the emergency declaration that was requested a couple of hours ago by Governor Beshear of Kentucky. That's going to accelerate federal emergency assistance for Kentucky right now when it's urgently needed. And I stand ready to do the same for the governors of the other states, and I've made it clear to them if they request emergency declarations. Our citizens are badly, badly hurt, and they're scared to death right now in terms of all those folks who they can't figure where they are. Where's my son? Where's my daughter, my husband, my wife, my mom, my dad? It's devastating.
More than 70 people died in Kentucky in Friday night storms, including dozens in a candle factory. And the death toll is expected to rise above 100. Emergency teams are searching through the rubble of the factory in the town of Mayfield, which was hit directly. More than 40 people have been rescued out of some 110 in the factory. But Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said it would be a miracle if anyone else was found alive. Tens of thousands of people in the state are also without power and water. In Italy, at least 3 people were killed and 6 others were missing after an explosion caused a 4-story apartment building to collapse in the Sicilian town of Ravanusa. According to Ravanusa Mayor Carmelo D'Angelo, the incident occurred when a methane leak caused the blast around 8:30 p.m. local time on Saturday. So far, 2 people have been pulled out alive from the rubble, while 50 people have been displaced as adjacent apartment buildings were also damaged in the explosion. It is understood that 5 of the missing included 2 children and a young couple who are expecting a baby. Carmelo also said about 250 rescuers, including civil protection volunteers, joined the search effort, adding that an investigation into the incident has been opened. After this breather, Vietnam too strong for Harimau Malaya. Sports, football, the AFF Suzuki Cup. It was billed as a clash of the last 2 finalists, but Malaysia were again second best to defending champions Vietnam as they succumbed to a 3-0 defeat in the Group B clash on Sunday. Vietnam got their breakthrough in the 32nd minute as Nguyen Tuan An's superb cutback from the left flank was slammed home by forward Nguyen Quang Hai. The reigning champions doubled their lead barely 4 minutes later thanks to Nguyen Kong Pong's effort, before Nguyen Hong Duk sealed the victory in the 89th minute with a superb effort from just outside the area. The result means that Vietnam are firmly in the driver's seat to finish as Group B winners after 2 straight victories, while Malaysia has to beat Indonesia in their final group match on Sunday to grab a spot in the semi-finals. In another Group B match, tournament dark horses Indonesia beat Laos 5-1 to put pressure on rivals Malaysia and Vietnam, as all 3 vie for the top 2 spots in the group to progress to the semi-finals. The Indonesians opened the scoring in the 23rd minute through Asnawi Mangkualam, who fired emphatically home from the penalty spot after fellow defender Alfiandra Dewanga was fouled in the box. Asnawi turned provider 11 minutes later when his cross was turned in by Irfan Jaya. Indonesia, however, were hit on the break in the 41st minute, with Kiravon Suvani pulling a goal back for the Laotians with a good finish off a rare counter-attack. Garuda's head coach made a double substitution for the start of the second half, throwing on exciting young winger Witan Sulaiman and Ipswich Town defender Elkan Bagat, and the former made a quick impact, firing a low shot into the bottom corner to make it 3-1 in the 56th minute. As the Laotians got tired in the closing stages of the game, Indonesia added 2 more goals. Another substitute, Ezra Walian, scored in the 77th minute before Garuda skipper Evan Dimas squeezed the ball home past Laos' 18-year-old goalkeeper Solasak Tilavong 8 minutes later. The margin of victory could have been even bigger, but Solasak made good saves to deny Ramai Rumah kick and Asnawi late on, while Bagat saw his header come off the woodwork. The Health Ministry said a maximum compound of 1 million ringgit could be issued to companies, agencies and other organizations for flaunting COVID-19 Standard Operating Procedures (SOP) after an amendment has been made under the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act, or Act 342. Its Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said on Sunday night that the government is looking into amending Act 342 to give higher penalties to organizations, including those from the government sector and individuals that have failed to adhere to SOP. Now we leave you with the stunning drone footage of a giant Christmas tree-shaped light display that towers over a busy highway in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Take a look. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thanks for tuning in and stay safe, Malaysia.